Hi everyone, how are you? My name is Leah Wilson and I am a one-star Diamond Beachbody coach here in the Port Orchard, Washington area. I'm the CEO and founder of Chalice Fitness, and here today with me is my 15-year-old son. And we have a really great story that we want to share with you because I think there's a lot of people who are going to connect with the story that you're going to hear from Bryce today. So Bryce, tell me, about what age do you think we diagnosed you with ADD?
I think I was in the first grade. It was a weird time because we were just now getting with your boyfriend. Well, now engaged.
Now wife, fiance,
yeah,
right?
Engaged is 9 years later.
9 years later.
So we're in that weird part, and I didn't really know Mark very well. He didn't really know me, but over time, we've he kind of realized how I had just an extra pep in my step. I was always doing things. I was always fidgety, always asking questions, not just a little bit over the top.
Yeah, and if I remember right, you struggled with, we struggled as a mother and a son because he'd always get mad at me and he couldn't express himself well, and I would get mad because I couldn't feel like I could get through to him. So you're right, Mark had suggested that we go see a doctor, and sure enough, he was diagnosed with, I suppose there's ADD and there's ADHD. Bryce was never really the HD part of it. He was never the hyperactive part, but he certainly struggled with focus and stability and being able to really dig in and get his work done. So that resulted in us starting him on medication. And Bryce, tell me how the medication made you feel.
So I started basically a chemical difference of it's Adderall. I started on Adderall when I was around the middle of first grade, and it would make me feel like a zombie, and I would do work, but I was there, but my mind wasn't.
Right.
And I just remember that whole entire time, I would get home, and I would eat more food than a regular first grader should eat. I wouldn't eat the whole entire day.
Right.
I would have really bad calorie intake at the very end of the day, and I would just literally eat everything, and it was bad. And every single day was 2 dinners for me.
Right.
It was awful, and in first, just this happened through maybe first grade through all the way to the 8th grade.
So, and let's talk about some of the other things that the medicine did for you, because I struggled as a parent with hearing and balancing what Bryce was saying to me in terms of he would tell me how the medication was making him feel. We tried to make tweaks to it, but in my mind I was so focused on making sure that Bryce could get to the other side and he could get a good education and he could get past all this. We tried nutrition. Remember we did the deal on red dye, and we talked about dyes and how that affects ADD. And we really dug deep and tried to find things that were going to solve this for him. But one of the things I think is most telling is talk to me about the burst, that whole burst thing, because we were just confirmed just this last time we went to the doctor that what you were feeling is truly justified, and yet you have been saying it for 6 years. So tell me about that.
There's side effects with multiple people around the world. I talked to a lady that came to my mom asking if there was any substance like boosted energy around, and I actually happened to be in the same room as her, and she explained the same exact things that I would go through every single morning. I would wake up and I'd vomit sometimes in the mornings. It was awful, and I would just be shaking, and I remember I would stay in bed all day long, and it would be awful. And she went through the same thing with Adderall too, and I explained to her she had the same problems as I did, and I basically explained to her, and I told her how I felt, and yeah.
Right. So tell me how it would make you feel, because you would describe to me this burst of energy that led to an anxiety panic attack, which would lead to, do you remember Miss Rose, your second grade teacher? She would literally have to hold you and hug you as tight as possible because I wasn't there, and she was the second best thing, and she actually truly understood where Bryce is coming from, where so many of his other teachers didn't. So tell me how that burst, what that feeling was, that the nausea, the everything you used to describe to me?
So I would take the pill, and approximately like 25 to 30 minutes later, I would experience like heart palpitations, extreme heart palpitations. How would my eyes would dilate, and I would start feeling extremely nauseous, and I would have to sit down, and I would have to put my hand over my heart, and I would just have to. It was like intense minute sessions.
Right, I could feel it. I actually took him to a cardiologist because I thought there was something wrong with his heart.
And yeah, we did that. We went to the cardiologist. After that, they just feel extreme like amounts of just like the world was about to end, and nobody was there for you, and how like and sad it was. And that's when anxiety pretty much took over my whole entire life, and how up until recently with with events, I haven't experienced any anxiety attacks.
Right. But
basically what it led me into is after I got used to the pill over like extreme amount of time, it was like I would take the pill when it wasn't needed because I didn't want to go through those withdrawals.
Right.
That I would take on an everyday basis, and that totally turned into like an Adderall addiction. And like I just didn't want to experience that, because every single time like I'd go off for a weekend or something, I'll get off that pill, and it would make me just awful. Like my weekends were inside my room doing nothing, and that's not me. Like
right. Absolutely not.
And all the way up to 8th grade, I gained a high of 187 pounds. And basically the whole entire summer, I trapped myself in my room, and I played games on my computer. And I went to a height of 187 pounds, and I remember that I was big, and I hated myself, and I was having horrible anxiety. And I remember like everybody's out to get me, and like I just was not a happy person in general. And so coming out of that into my 9th grade year, that whole entire 9th grade year, I wasn't really like happy with my body. Like I knew like I was bigger than I should have been and stuff like that. And I just didn't have that spunk a kid should have at that age, you know? Like I was usually really happy and stuff like before, and like it just wasn't myself. So I made myself a commitment. I got off the medication throughout 8th grade, and I really took myself in check. Right now, I got back into my favorite thing in the world, scootering. I love it so much. It's my passion. I do it on an everyday basis.
Yeah.
Well, I try to. And I went to 187 pounds to 134 pounds in a matter of a summer.
A summer, yeah. So here's the interesting part about all of that, and the piece that really changed in both Bryce and I's life, and that was the introduction of Beachbody. You know, Bryce had his own struggles. He struggled with massive anxiety. You guys, massive anxiety, like the kind of anxiety a mother never ever wants their son to experience. So I dealt with anxiety. I knew he was battling depression. Was tough to talk to. He was tough to connect with. And simultaneously to sort of all of this going on in the summer of 2015, which would have been not last summer, but the summer before, the summer of 2015, I had a tragic, horrific fall from my horse at an equestrian event in Rebecca Farms, Montana, Kalispell, Montana. And as we came over the jump, we had an unfortunate miscommunication. I got slingshotted underneath the horse, so by the time we got to the other side of the jump, I was actually on the ground looking straight up to two hoofs coming straight at my face. My horse did an outstanding job of trying to get away from me, but it did result in him slicing my face open with traction studs, steel traction studs that we put in their feet. And, that sliced my face open, 2 massive black eyes, a tremendous concussion, and subsequent depression, and issues with my own fitness and nutrition and all sorts of things that sort of spiraled. So in the next year, in 2016, I made a commitment to myself to fix my fitness, to fix my nutrition, and to introduce a new lifestyle for both Bryce and I. I mean, I felt it was very important for both of us. And so I started Beachbody coaching. I had no idea the results it was going to give to us, not just like the fitness results, but I mean like how it's totally changed both of our lives, right? And so with the introduction of Shakeology, that was I mean, obviously Shakeology is one of the cornerstones of Beachbody and one of the best all natural food groups that you can put into your body. But here's the important part of Bryce's story. Excuse me, Beachbody also makes a product called Shakeology Boost Focused Energy. Again, all natural. We started, I got this because of my concussion, that I needed to feel sharper. I needed to feel more energized in the brain. I needed to be able to sit at the computer longer periods of time and get my work done. And so I figured it was worth a shot for me, right? And so what we did was we tried this, but then Bryce tried it. Bryce at one point so this is a strawberry Shakeology, which he's drinking today with his Focused Energy. We added this, and tell me how this shake with Focused Energy made you feel and how you connected the dots with your ADD.
So my mom had the idea to take it to school one day, and I was a little bit hesitant because I was still like, I didn't want, even if it had to, my mind was like, if it had anything to do with bursts, I'm not touching it right. I won't ever go back to it. But I gave it a chance one day, and what I did, I usually am really fidgety throughout my whole language arts class. Like, I'm just like twiddling my thumbs or just like playing on my desk or something like that, or I whip my phone out and then I'll get my phone taken away. And it was, it sucked, and like I never got work done. So, and then I brought this in with the boosted energy, and I sat through every single one of my classes, and my teacher even gave me a remark saying like, Bryce, you were doing so much better today, what was the difference, blah blah blah. And I was like, oh, it's because this little drink right here. And I didn't connect in my brain at all how like that went to that. I just thought it was just something I was sipping on, but how like much that really like affected my life. It was like Adderall without Adderall side effects.
Yeah.
So like it was,
which is huge, right? Because I mean, he gets better results. He's actually feeding his body, and he's feeding his mind, and he's able to focus in school. Like it was like a light bulb moment, right?
Oh yeah.
I mean, a major light bulb moment. So I guess here our point is that through good nutrition, through something like, Focused Energy and Shakeology, if you're a mom struggling with how to help your kiddo like break through, it's worth a shot, right? Like that's all I can say is it worked for us, and if it would work for you and your kiddo, you should give it a try. One more thing, we went back to the doctor just recently.
Yeah.
You had to go get some checkup for whatever. And he asked, are you on your medicine? And Bryce said no, because, and we have been saying this for years to him, because it would make him sick. Like it would create this burst, and he would have this anxiety burst. And Bryce very articulately now, because he's older, said to his pediatrician, I'm convinced that my anxiety issue resulted from being on those medications. You are 100% certain of that. You know your body. I trust what you say. And the doctor, for the first time in 6 years, admitted what?
That the burst was a legitimate thing. He never would admit it in the past, but he first now admitted that like recent studies showed that it does do that to people, and I'm not the only one. But also you gotta remember, this isn't just for kids. You also, if you're an adult, and I know many of adults who are struggling with depression, anxiety, and stuff like that, even Shakeology can help you with that.
That's right.
In general, like it's gonna give it like your body just like that more energy without those
the artificial stimulants. Yeah, right? I mean, it's like, this is all natural. This is 70 natural ingredients, and you get to feed your body with that every day. So you're feeding your body, you're feeding your mind, and then you just add Focused Energy, and you guys, it's truly incredible. So, Bryce, thank you for sharing your story. Like, it's, this is the love of my life, you guys. Whoops. And I just want you to hear his story because I think it's so powerful. And I think you can see now how articulate Bryce is with his story, and how, both of us just want to change. If this story changes one person's life, like, isn't it worth it?
Oh, of course.
Yeah. All right. Well, high five, bro. I love it. And to all you guys out there, I hope this changes your life too. Okay. Bye.